Hey everybody, I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama, and this is a free public service announcement to remind you to very regularly go out to all of your flowering plants, whether they're in pots like this, or you've got big rose bushes in the ground, or whatever you have, and be deadheading the blooms. And a lot of the blooms, the flowers that are dying on your plant, you can cut them off and dry them and save the seeds so you have free plants for next year. Good morning, everybody. So I wanted to show you real quick about saving seeds and deadheading flowers. And also this is kind of like a, Sarah, is my plant okay? So we have to look at two different things when you're looking at the plant. And I'm rotating very skillfully. Don't you love my videographer skills? Hold on. Because I'm going to show you a couple of other examples of plants and seeds. So here's what I'm talking about. If you look at these, don't look at these because they got fried. But if you look at this marigold plant, for an example, this is an annual. This plant will only live for like 9 months to a year, no matter what I do. Maybe a little bit longer. But even if I take care of it perfectly, it's still going to die. But there's two things that I need to look at. First of all, if the plant looks fine, if the leaves look good and green and healthy and everything, but the bloom just looks like crap, just the flower looks terrible, there is nothing wrong with your plant. Your plant is fine, but it's just like us getting haircuts. Sometimes you just need to trim off the dead, but the rest of you, hopefully, is doing pretty okay. So in this instance, what I'm doing is I'm letting the flower bloom. This one's still blooming just fine. It's still helping pollinators, so I'm going to leave it. But once they get dried and ugly looking, sorry for the focus, once they get dried and ugly looking, they're all drying out like this, and they feel like they're like crunchy when you touch them, pop that bloom off. Now you can certainly get like little pruning shears and stuff. I honestly just use my thumbnail and I just pop off the bloom like that. Now the plant will more quickly make another set of blooms. It will bloom more quickly. I'm going to let this totally dry out. It needs to be really super dry. And you can see I've already broken apart some marigolds. This little thing right here, not the orange, I don't need the orange, but see that really thin black and like yellowish piece? That's a marigold seed. And so what I'm doing is all season long, because the plants will bloom and bloom and bloom, and then the blooms will die and then they'll make more. As you can see, there's buds on all of these guys. The same thing can be said as I get up for a lot of other plants. So a lot of the time, the plant is doing fine, but that bloom has just died off. It will bloom more profusely. It will make more blooms more quickly if you trim off the blooms as they're dying. Because what you're doing is you're telling the plant, look, quit wasting energy on finishing, like killing this bloom and letting it die off and fall off. Let me help you. Let me speed up that process so you can focus on blooming again. Now, I don't have any good rose bushes to show you right now that have blooms, but rose bushes are notorious for that, because rose bushes will bloom, and then after the bloom comes the fruit on a plant, right? Roses make rose hips, which are those big spherical looking things on the end of a rose branch, and you're like, what is that thing? If you don't want the rose hips for anything, now they can be used for some medicinal stuff, but don't listen to me, I'm not a doctor. They can be used for some medicinal stuff, but if you're not planning on using the rose hips, cut those guys off. And within a week, your rose bush will have made another batch of blooms. Let me pan around and show you another example. This flowering plant right here is fine. Look at the leaves and everything. It's doing great. Now, there's some lower leaves that are dying off, but that's the normal cycle of plants. You're not doing anything wrong. This flower stem, though, as you can see, that stalk is dead. There's no point in me keeping this on the plant anymore. So I cut the dead off, but then this plant is going to be blooming again. And I bet if I dig around in here, there's already some other bud stems that are forming. So if you want to help your plants to speed up the process a little bit, hurry up, please. Get rid of the blooms once they are spent. As you can see, this one, as I pan around, it's starting to be spent here on the side. So that means that that bloom stalk probably has another 2 days, and then I can cut it off. The plant will go through this period where it's like, all right, it's gearing up, it's getting energy for another set. But as I pan back around and show you here, all of the flowering plants that I have here, again, that bowl of marigolds is not gonna last until maybe early 2026, you know, if I baby it and protect it from freezes and whatever. But as I come around here, a lot of the plants that I'm going to show you, these are all butterfly milkweed, which, by the way, if you're in the market for some flowering plants, please go buy milkweed. Milkweed are the only plants that baby monarchs can eat. Monarch caterpillars. This is the only plant. Okay, adult monarchs, they can go get pollen from anything that they want, but the caterpillars, you'll see monarchs flying around your property looking for this plant and looking for the shape of the leaf and the flowers, because that's the only place they can lay their eggs. It's the only place that monarch caterpillars can eat the leaves, and they will eat voraciously. But as you can see, everything here, all those little babies that are growing up like crazy, those were all free. I have not bought butterfly milkweed plants in like 2 or 3 years. These are all the seeds from my plants that I already had. So yay, more plants from your plants. And then as I continue to come around this like little renegade goofy looking flower bed over here, these are where my rain barrels are on the side of the house. Everything that you see in here, and yes, some of it looks like weeds, but they're flowering, so I'm leaving them alone. Everything here, sunflowers, marigolds, zinnias, what else is in there? I don't even remember. Morning glories, and I have a whole separate video on morning glories. But everything in here, those are seeds from my previous plants. And so you dry them, they have to be super, super dry because it's gonna mold and get disgusting, and you have to throw them out if there's any moisture at all. So leave them out in the sun, you know, like let them dry out for literally weeks before you package them up. And the packaging that I use is recycled packaging from everything from like body scrubs to, you know, candle holders to whatever. Reuse all of that packaging. Upcycle these containers. You can use mason jars, whatever, label what it is, and then next year, look, all these little baby marigolds, these cute little guys that have like the scallop leaves, those are all marigolds, but they're like the great grandchildren of marigolds that I bought a couple years ago. So don't forget to be saving your seeds. And the other thing is, if the plant looks fine, the leaves of the plant, the base of the plant, if it looks good, but the flowers just look like crap, well, cut them off. Cut them off. It's on the Greg app all the time. And by the way, if you want to get the Greg app, it's free. It's a plant app. They don't pay me to say that. I'm on there as Real Simple Mama. But that's a question that people post all the time. Like, what's wrong with my plant? The flowers are dying. And it's like, yeah, the flowers are going to die. Cut it off. But the plant is a separate entity from the flower. So just keep that in mind before you freak out about plants, whether they're inside, outside, in the ground, in pots, whatever. Be thinking about keeping up more flowers all year long if you can for pollinators, hummingbirds, bees. We need them so badly. But then save the seeds if you can. And if not, if you get your plant through that process more quickly and save that last couple of steps, you'll get more blooms to enjoy all year long. Thanks so much for watching.